Hi, I'm Cara Fraser. Welcome to my arm balance series. This series is an 8-class series, and each class will focus on one arm balance and all the things you need leading up to learning that arm balance, and then a breakdown of how you get into the pose. The reason I wanted to do this series is when I was a student, I would take classes and either we wouldn't practice arm balances or the teacher would just say, go from twisted chair to side crow without any instruction. And so I would get frustrated because I knew if I had it broken down for me, I could figure out how to do it. But without that breakdown, I would struggle sometimes. So this video is not for beginners. If you're a beginner, you probably need to build strength in your arms and your core in order to get into these poses. So I encourage you to start a yoga practice and then come into this arm balance series. The other thing I'd like to mention is I'm filming this series at Yoga Soul Studio in Yorba Linda, California. They were generous enough to let me film the whole series here. As you can tell, it's a beautiful space. They have this great rope wall and a lot of classes throughout the week. So check them out if you're in the area. And finally, leave comments if you have questions. I would love to help you with the poses, and I'd love to hear what you think. Hi, I'm Cara Fraser, and welcome to my arm balance series. Today we'll be focusing on crow, which is one of the most accessible arm balances. I find that once people figure out the body positioning in crow, they're able to progress into other arm balances pretty easily. So it's a little scary because you're balancing on your hands and leaning forward. And I think the mental fear in this pose is probably the hardest thing for people to get past. So today we'll work on a warm-up just to warm up the body to get into crow, and then we'll break it down into a way that hopefully you'll feel comfortable moving into the pose. So today, starting in Sukhasana, comfortable cross-leg position, legs cross at the shins, the center of the shins. Sit up on the center of the sit bones, shoulders over hips and head over shoulders, and palms can face either down or up. And then close the eyes. And take this time to draw your focus in. Notice how your breath feels. And as you notice your breath, start to lengthen the inhales and the exhales. So deep inhalations, expanding the belly and the ribs. And exhaling all the air out on the exhale. Trying to find slow, steady, even breath. And you can keep the eyes closed if you're more comfortable. You can softly blink them open. And on the inhale, take the arms out to the side, up by the ears. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms out and up. Exhale, heart center. Inhale, out and up. And exhale, heart center. Inhale this time, bring them up by the ears again. And exhale, right palm to the mat, bend over to the side, get a stretch in the left side body. Maybe you spin the left ribs up and the right ribs forward. You can look up towards the ceiling. If that doesn't feel good, you can look forward or maybe down towards the mat. And then inhale, come up, lift the arms. Exhale, other side. Inhale, come up to center, lift the arms by the ears. Exhale, bring the palms down in front of you and walk them forward any amount. So we haven't moved much. This isn't going to be your deepest fold here, but just find a place where you're starting to feel a stretch. For some of you, it may be up here, and some people may fold all the way down with the forehead to the mat, or you may be anywhere in between there. Nice, steady breath. Torso long. Walk the hands back, lift the chest. Lean back, change the cross of the legs. And inhale, bring the arms up by the ears. Exhale, this time twist to the right. Right fingertips to the mat behind you. Left hand on the outside of the right thigh. And keep pulling the chest forward. So instead of leaning back and rounding, see if you can ground down to those sit bones, those two bony points. Lift the chest as you twist. Inhale, come up to center, lift the arms. Exhale, other side. Grounding into both sit bones as you root into them, reaching up through the chest and the top of the head. And inhale, come back to center, lift the arms by the ears. Exhale, palms down in front of you, walk them forward any amount. Long spine. Letting your neck be an extension from your back. So instead of looking up and kind of cranking the neck or really dropping the head, see if you can keep long line from the back of the head all the way down the back. And then walk the hands back, lift the chest, cross over the shins and come into tabletop. So wrists under shoulders, knees under hips, and tops of feet press into the mat. Inhale, pull the chest forward, keep lifting the belly up. Exhale, push into your hands, round the upper back. Inhale, come forward, look forward. Exhale, round. Inhale, come forward. And exhale, round. And then come back to a neutral spine. Let's talk a little bit about that rounding action that you get in cat pose. So come back to tabletop. Have your fingers spread wide. This is going to be important as we move into crow pose. So fingers spread wide, and then you can just hang out here, and then press into the hands. So as you press into the hands, feel what happens to the upper back. You get a little rounding, shoulder blades draw apart. And then if you really keep pressing and then round the back, lift the belly, see the difference there. And then come back to a neutral spine. And let's take some wrist stretches. So I'll face you so you can see. You'll take the right hand, flip the palm up, and take the fingers back towards the legs. And you can adjust the intensity by where your hips are. You can move forward or back. Just notice where you get a stretch. I find that a lot of people have some tightness in the wrists, especially from maybe sitting on a computer all day. which I used to do and had wrist problems. Take that palm back to the mat, flip the other palm up. Again, adjusting the intensity for your body. Stretching the wrists before doing arm balances is really important. So every class in this series, we'll be doing it. Flip that palm back, come back to table, shoulders over wrists here. Then take the shoulders forward towards the front of the mat. So lean them forward just enough till you feel a stretch in the wrists. Press evenly into the base of all the fingers and the palms of the hands. This is a great place to practice your hand placement for arm balances. So I always like to feel how the mat feels under my hands. This is something that I really use and engage as I move into my arm balances. And then shift the shoulders back over the wrist. Bring the big toes together, sit the hips back for child's pose. Couple breaths here. Just notice what's being stretched here. Inhale, come back up to table. And we're gonna move into lifting one leg and then bringing the knee to the nose. And this action is really important. I want you to think about what's happening in your core here. So I did a little mini series of a 30-day class of short 5-minute videos called Alignment for Core Strength, which would actually be really helpful for you to maybe watch in the future, because we really talk about how to engage the core, which is really important for arm balances. But we'll do a little exercise here so you can try and figure out that core engagement. So come into tabletop, and like we did earlier, press into the hands, draw the shoulder blades apart, lift the belly up, and take the tailbone back. So you should already feel work here in the core. Then on the next inhale, lift that right leg up parallel to the mat. Keep shoulders and hips parallel to the mat, equal weight in both hands. And then exhale, press into the hands, round the upper back. I haven't even moved my leg yet. And then the knee comes to the nose. Inhale, extend. Exhale, knee to nose. Lift the belly. Feel how the core works here. Inhale, extend. And exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, extend. And exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift that left leg. Exhale, press into the hands, round the back, lift the knee. Inhale, extend, equal weight again in the hands. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, extend. And exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, extend. Exhale, lower that leg down. Now tuck the toes under, moving into another little core exercise. So here we're gonna press into the hands and the feet and hover the knees just an inch above the mat. And as you do that, notice what engages in your core. You have to lift the belly and the hips. Same action we'll be using in crow pose. So come to table, tuck the toes. Inhale, press into the hands, lift the knees to a hover. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. One more, inhale, lift. Hold here, keep pulling the belly in. And exhale, lower, bring the big toes together, come back, child's pose. Inhale, come up to table. Tuck the toes, lift the hips for downward facing dog. And then bend the left knee, straighten the right leg. Then bend the other leg, straighten the left. And then bend both knees deeply, get a nice stretch in the torso. And straighten the legs, take the heels down to the mat. Walk the feet up to the hands, forward fold. Inhale, lift up halfway, long spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up. And exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, bring the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, plant the hands, step back to plank. Lower the knees down. Hug the elbows and come all the way to the belly. Inhale, lift the head and shoulders for cobra. Exhale, lower, push through table, tuck the toes, lift the hips. Downward facing dog. Couple breaths. Take one more inhale. Exhale, bend the knees, look between the hands, step or hop to the front of the mat. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Now, if you have a strap, grab your strap. I want to go through a quick little practice of chaturanga because the arms in this position are really important. This is a great way to build strength to help you get into arm balances. And I find that a lot of times people don't understand the arm positioning in this pose. So just watch me for a second. We'll start with the strap around the arms, and the loop will be big enough so the arms are about shoulders distance apart. If you don't have a strap, it's okay. The strap just helps give you a little support to figure out the body positioning, but you can do it without it. So watch first, we'll come into down dog. Inhale, come forward to plank, shoulders over wrist. Exhale, shift the shoulders forward, and then come halfway down, upper arms parallel to the torso. And then inhale, straighten the arms, lift the chest for up dog, and exhale for down dog. So if you notice there, when I came down, my upper arms were parallel to the torso. The shoulder doesn't dip down, and the elbow's at a right angle. This arm position is what we use for most arm balances. So it's really important. So practicing chaturanga properly helps us to get strong in these poses. So let's try it together. Strap to the arms, right above the elbow creases. And if you have a buckle or hardware, just make sure it's not touching your arms. So come into downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward to plank. Exhale, shift the shoulders forward, come halfway down. Notice the positioning of the body. Inhale, straighten the arms, lift the chest, press into the tops of the feet. The knees and the hips stay lifted here in up dog. And then lift the hips, roll over the toes, downward facing dog. And then drop the knees. You can take the strap off to the side. We'll come back to down dog. We'll practice that now without the strap. So come to table, tuck the toes, lift the hips for down dog. Inhale, come forward to plank. Exhale, shift the shoulders forward, come halfway down, chaturanga. Inhale to up dog, lift the chest. And exhale to down dog. Hold here. Take one more inhale. Exhale, bend the knees, look between the hands, step or hop to the front of the mat. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, sit that chair pose, lift the arms and the chest. Exhale, fold over the thighs, forward fold, straighten the legs. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, plant the hands, step back, plank to chaturanga, halfway down. Inhale to up dog. Exhale to down dog. Bring the foot up between the hands, spin the back heel down. Inhale up, warrior one. Exhale, frame the foot, step through a vinyasa. Bring the left foot up between the hands, spin the back heel down. Inhale up, warrior one. Exhale, vinyasa, meet in down dog. Hold down dog. 5 smooth, steady breaths. One more inhale. Exhale, bend the knees, look between the hands, step or hop to the front of the mat. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sit back, chair pose. And exhale, straighten the legs, hands to heart center. Inhale, bring the arms up by the ears. Exhale, hinge from the hips, long spine, forward fold. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, plant the hands, step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the right leg up and back, equal weight in both hands. Exhale, knee to nose, round the upper back, drop the foot down between the hands. Spin the back heel down, line the front heel up with the back arch, press into the feet. Inhale, come up, warrior two. Bend into that front leg. Arms come to a T. Inhale, keep the bend in the front leg. Take that right arm up and back, reverse warrior. And inhale, come back, warrior two, arms to a T. Exhale, extended side angle. Right forearm can come to the thigh or maybe to a block on the inside of the front foot, or maybe the mat. Press into the feet. Inhale, come back up, warrior two. Exhale, frame the foot, take the block to the side, take the right foot back, downward facing dog. Inhale the left leg up and back. Exhale, knee to nose, bring the foot down between the hands, spin the back heel down, press into the feet. Inhale, come up, warrior two. Inhale, left arm up and back. Keep the bend in that left knee. Inhale to warrior two. Exhale, left forearm to thigh, hand to block or hand to mat. Inhale, press into the feet, reach the right fingertips, warrior two. Exhale, frame the foot, step back, downward facing dog. Couple breaths here. Inhale the left leg up and back. Exhale, bring the foot down between the hands for a lunge. And then walk the hands over to the right. Wide leg forward fold. In this wide leg forward fold, think about your arms. So line the heels of your hands up to the heels of your feet, and then hug the elbows in, keep the elbows at a right angle. And then drop the head. These arms are the same arms that we practiced in chaturanga, remember? That right angle. Same thing we're practicing here for crow. Inhale, bring the torso up halfway. Exhale, walk the hands back to frame the front foot for a lunge. And plant the hands, take that front foot back, downward facing dog. Inhale the right leg up and back. Exhale, shoulders over wrist, round the upper back, knee to nose, hold here. Inhale, up and back. Exhale, knee to nose, feel what's working in your core. Inhale, up and back. Exhale, knee to nose. Drop the foot down between the hands again. Spin the back heel down. Inhale, come up, warrior two. Exhale, extended side angle. Bring that left hand down to the hip. Grab your block, bring it on the inside of the right foot. Bring the left foot in halfway. Take the block a foot in front of the front foot. Lift that left leg up. Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose. You could lift that left arm. Bend into the standing leg, come back, extended side angle. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, frame the foot, step back, downward facing dog. Inhale the left leg up and back. Exhale, knee to nose, lift the belly. Inhale, up and back. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, up and back. Exhale, knee to nose, drop the foot between the hands. Spin the back heel down. Inhale, up, warrior two. Exhale, extended side angle. Bring the hand to the block, right hand down to the hip, right foot maybe comes in halfway. Block in front of the front foot, lift that right leg. Really pressing into the big toe mound of the standing foot helps give stability here. One more inhale. Exhale, bend into that knee, come back, extended side angle. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, frame the foot, step back, downward facing dog. From here, walk the hands back to the feet, forward fold at the back of the mat. And then walk the feet out a little wider than the hips. Spin the toes to the front corners of the mat, and then bend the knees, drop the hips to the heels, more for Malasana. Hands come to prayer. If this is too much, you could sit on a block. Wherever you are, make sure the knees are tracking directly over the toes, so they're not coming in or out. That's a lot of pressure on the knees. So knees track over toes, and then press into the feet. As you press into the feet, lift the chest and the head up towards the ceiling. And if you have bad knees and this doesn't feel good, you can come back to the forward fold and hold there for just this next little bit. Maybe you close your eyes. And then bring the hands down to the mat, straighten the legs, lift the hips for the fold. You have the block, you can take it to the side. Walk the feet back so they're hips distance apart. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold, walk the hands to the front of the mat, downward facing dog. Take one more inhale. Exhale, bend the knees, look between the hands, step or hop to the front of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, press into the feet, long spine, come all the way up. And exhale, hands to heart center. Setting up for tree pose. So bring the feet hips distance apart. Hands to hips. Before you even do anything, stack the shoulders over the hips and press evenly into all four corners of the feet. Then lean into the left foot as you take the ball of the right foot to the mat. Maybe you stay right here. If you feel good here, maybe the foot comes to the inside of the calf. And if you feel good here, maybe it comes to the inside of the thigh. Wherever you are, don't put it right on the side of the knee here. You want to protect your knee. And then check to see where your hips are in space. So if one's hiking up, try and make the hip bones parallel to the floor. And then if you have this left hip coming out to the side, see if you can firm that hip in. See how there's a line here instead of it sticking out? It's a lot to think about. And then maybe hands to prayer or up. Your choice. And then bring the hands to the hips if they're not already there. Bring that foot down. Take the hands by the sides, take a couple shoulder rolls, couple deep breaths. I find people hold their breath in standing balance poses. They're thinking so much about everything that's going on in their bodies, they forget to breathe. Happens to me too. And then bring the hands to the hips. Put weight into the right foot as you bring the ball of the left foot to the mat. And you can take whatever progression here feels good with the foot, calf, or thigh. Whatever you do, take your time. There's no hurry. Press into the big toe mound of that right foot. Helps to give your ankle some stability. And even here, you're using your core, a little lift in the belly as you keep the shoulders and the hips stacked. Slow, steady breath. And then bring the hands to the hips, foot down to the mat. Take a couple of shoulder rolls, couple deep breaths. And then come back to Tadasana at the front of the mat. Big toes touch, outer edges of the feet parallel to the mat. Reach the fingers down as you reach the head up. Inhale, bring the arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, plant the hands, step back, downward facing dog. Couple breaths here. And then drop the knees down to the mat and just come back to a place where you can watch me to set up for crow. So there's a lot of things to consider when moving into this pose, especially if you're new. So you're not going to get it right away, probably. Most people don't. There's definitely a fear of falling forward, like I mentioned. So some people will fold up a blanket or a towel and put it at the front of the mat just to help with the mental fear in this pose. So if you have something and you want to do that, you could take that option. But just watch me for the setup here. I really like to start with the feet up on a block, and let me show you why. Actually, I'll show you without the block. So see where my hips are? Just starting out, they're really low to the ground. And in this pose, you have to lean your weight forward. So if you bring the feet to blocks, notice how the hips are already further up. It helps to get the right body positioning. So if you don't have a block, it's not the end of the world, it's just helpful. The next thing to think about are your hands. And for me, when I figured out my hands in these poses, it completely transformed the way I did arm balances, because fingers spread wide, I started to realize if I started to fall forward, I could press into my fingertips and press my body back. And that sounds absolutely crazy to me, that your fingertips can give you that much power, but it's really true. So some people will teach this suctioning method with the hands, where you press into the tips of the fingers and the base of the hand here. And then you let the middle of the hand suction up like a suction cup. And I see people be successful both ways with that suction method and without. I use it, but maybe not to the same extreme as I see some other people. So you can play with that and see what you like. So, feet to block, fingers spread wide, hands, shoulders distance apart. There's so much to think about in this pose, really. So then lift the hips up higher than you think you need to, and you can bring the knees to the armpits or the upper arms. Now this is where we were practicing chaturanga, those chaturanga arms. I see a lot of people try and come into this straight, and there is a variation of this pose with straight arms, but it's a ton harder. It takes a lot of core strength. So think of those chaturanga arms 90-degree angle bend, with the elbows bending towards the back of the mat. And then look to the front of the mat. That's the second most common thing I see. People look down, watch what happens. If I look down, I'm going down. So I think of looking to the front of my mat. And then the final thing is I think of a string pulling my chest to the front of the room. So instead of coming down, I want to come forward, get length to lift. So just watch me here. Nice and slow. Slow, 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 slow. I just lean until my feet come up. Now, I see a lot of people teach this lifting one foot and then the other. And I actually used to do that too. But I found people would lift one foot, but their body weight is still too far back. So until you lean, you'll never get the right position. It's like a seesaw, really. So let's give it a shot. Feet to the block if you have it. Fingers spread wide. Hands, shoulders distance apart. Lift the hips up. Knees to armpits or upper arms. Little bend, like a 90-degree bend. Look to the front of the mat. Lean, lean, lean till the feet come up. Now there's a couple things here that I haven't mentioned. And the biggest one is lifting the belly. So really, ultimately, you want to lift the belly and the hips. Use your core to take weight out of your arms. But if you're new, the reality is you're going to have your knees resting on your upper arms. And then once you figure out the balance and the positioning, you can start to really lift the core. Some people can find that right away, but most people can't. So start where you are, get comfortable, and then when you're comfortable, you can work to lift through the core. And that's actually the next variation of the pose, straightening the arms. When you straighten the arms, the knees aren't going to rest right on the upper arm. You have to use that core to lift yourself up. So if you want to pause the video and try that a couple more times, you can do that, but we'll do a quick little cool down here. So come to sitting, legs extended out straight for Dandasana. Inhale, bring the arms up. Exhale, hinge forward from the hips, long spine. You can grab the feet or you can bring the hands to the outside of the legs. On the inhales, lengthen, pull the chest forward. And on the exhales, soften. Inhale, long spine, come all the way up. Come up to the front of the mat, bend the knees, bring the soles of the feet to the mat, extend the arms out. Inhale, get tall. And exhale, very slowly, come all the way down. Hug the knees into the chest. And then cross the right thigh over the left thigh, like you're crossing your legs when you're sitting in a chair. And two choices here. You can grab the feet with the hands, but if that's not accessible today, you can bring the arms down to the mat. And let go of the feet, uncross the legs, and cross the left thigh over the right thigh, either grabbing the feet with the hands or taking the arms down to the mat. And let go of the feet, uncross the legs, hug the knees into the chest. And rock from side to side. And inhale, lift the forehead to the knees. Exhale, lower the head down. And extend the legs straight out for Shavasana. Legs hips distance apart, feet splay out comfortably. Arms by the sides, palms facing up. And eyes closed. And whatever happened during your practice today, know that you are exactly where you're supposed to be. Most of us did not start out getting crow every time or handstands every time. These things take a lot of practice. So that's why we call it a yoga practice, right? We're not going to a competition. There's no race. We come here to get stronger, more flexible, help our balance, and help learn about ourselves. So if you try something like an arm balance and you beat yourself up because you can't do it, maybe you change your perspective. Maybe you accept yourself right where you are today. You're welcome to stay here, maybe pause the video. Otherwise, start to deepen your breath. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Circle the ankles and wrists. And reach the arms up overhead, stretch from fingertips to toes. And roll off to your right side, pause there. And use your left hand to press yourself up to a comfortable seated position. Eyes closed, hands at heart center. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.